המצב. אבל אז מה? מה שעשיתי פרק של Dual Destinies, אז החלטתי שאני פשוט אעשה את זה כי למה לא? אני לא אצטרך להסביר את המוזיקה שאני מתחמש. אבל... הייתי לא רוצה לדבר איך אני נשמע. נשמע טוב, פרפקט. אז כן, בלי כזה פאנטר יותר מדי גדול. אני אחכה עוד קצת זמן שיהיה קצת יותר קולדאון. יאללה, let's go. Dual Destinies. בואו נעשה את זה. אני יודע שאני אצטרך להשתמש, קצת ספוילר, אני יודע שאני אצטרך בכלל להשתמש ב-voice mode שיש לי הרבה. אבל זה בסדר. בעיניי זה לא כזה בעייתי ממה שאני יכול לחשוב. השאלה הראשית יותר זה אם אני יכול בכלל לשחק במשחק. זה יותר השאלה שלי. בכל מקרה, היי, מה המצב? עבר זמן, מה? סורי שאני אומר את זה שוב, אבל... כן. פעם קודמת! התחלנו את about for tomorrow. כן. אפשר לראות שהטיים פה הוא לא כזה מדויק, אבל זה בגלל שאני רציתי לעשות דברים לפאמנייל שיהיה בעצם. כי הפאמנייל לא יצא כזה טוב ולא היה לי כזה אופציה, אז החלטתי שאני אעשה אותו טוב. אז יאללה, בוא ניגש לטריאל של Tell About For Tomorrow! אני יודע כמו שאמרתי קודם, ואני אחזור עכשיו, אני יודע שאני אצטרך בוויס מוד שלי להשתמש הכי טוב בשביל ה-best case scenario זה אם הייתי יכול להשתמש בוויס מוד V3. אני משתמש עכשיו במודל ישן יותר של voice mode, אבל יש voice mode V3 שהוא נראה הרבה יותר טוב, רק יש פשוט אינטראקציה מוזרה שקורה בעצם במחשב. שעדיף לפחות שאני אגיד את זה. אז אני צריך לשחק במקרה שלי עם ווליום יותר חלש, אבל זה לא אמור להשפיע על הלייבסטרים, נכון? כן, זה לא אמור להשפיע בלייב עצמו. אז כן, בוא ניגש את About for Tomorrow! A trial. Let's do this. בואי, עבר בהחלט הרבה זמן. אני מקווה שאני יכול לעשות את זה כמו שצריך. גם מצטער אם יהיה לי קצת דיליי בדיאלוגים פשוט. אבל הסיבה למה אני אוהב את V3 ממה שאני בדקתי בטסטינג זה שהוא יכול בעצם להחליף וויסים באופן מיידי. כמו לדוגמה יש לי את הקול הזה של רובוט. רק בתור טסטים אני רוצה להגיד את זה פה. אז במקום שאני אצטרך ללחוץ בעצם על הכפתור שלו, אז בעצם יש בעצם כפתור שמחליף בעצם אוטומטי בין לבין, שזה הרבה יותר עוזר באינטראקציה של איש אחד לאיש אחר שנשמעים בעצם בצורות אחרות. אולי יותר בין קלין לבין משהו כמו לדוגמה רובוט. אז כן, זה קצת מינוסים שאני לא הולך להשתמש בהם, אבל whatever, אני אסתדר פה לפי דעתי. אז יאללה, ה-20 בדצמבר, 3:11 בצהריים, דיסטריק קורט, דפנדנט לובי 5. בואי, אוקיי, הגיע הזמן לחת את עצמי. I did a little research. I looked into those special psych-locks you mentioned, Mr. Nick. You did? That's great. I really appreciate it. A red psych-lock protects a secret the person is consciously trying to hide. If the person falls under questioning, the lock breaks and the truth comes out. Yep. That's exactly how got the truth out Detective Fulbright and Director Cosmos. And literally everybody else for the past, come on, 9 years? מתי פיניקס קיבל את המגתמה? לפני 8-9 שנים האבנט של Dual Destinies? זה משהו. A black psych-lock protects a secret from the deepest place in a person's heart. A secret that person isn't even consciously aware of. Oh! So even they don't know it's there? Athena isn't trying to keep anything up from you on purpose. For some reason, her heart and her memories are sealed off, even from herself. I'm Gavin. I'm Christoph Gavin, actually. Okay. So, all I have to do is break the Psyclocks. According to my research, a black Psyclock is like a heavy chain wrapped directly around one's heart. If got ripped off by force, it could cause permanent damage to a person's soul. Oh. In other words, if I'm not careful, I could traumatize Athena for good. Pearls, could you stay by Athena's side? She must be suffering under the weight of such a heavy burden. Alright, but will you be alright by yourself, Mr. Nick? I'm up against Edgeworth. I have to be able to give this child all my focus and strength. And you can't do that if I'm there. I'll just hold you back. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Bigger justice for all. No, that's not it. I just meant I could relax and concentrate if I knew you were with Athena. You're the only one who can do it, Pearls. Because my daughter is literally being held prisoner because of fucking Aura Blackwell. Alright, I'll do it then. Come back, Mr. Nick. Bye, Pearl. Good. Now that my mind's at ease, I'd better get ready. I'll just tidy up the evidence and take out what I don't need. But I don't know much the evidence, Paul, actually. Okay. You should have watched the video? Okay. It's time to end the statement that started 7 years ago. אולי כבר היה, אני קודם אני לא שמתי לב. אני דואג שבכל רגע זה יקפוץ לי ויוריד אותי מתחת ל1000, שזה יהיה בעצם לא אידיאלי לבחירת סטרימים. שיניתי את זה במקום שזה יהיה 4500 בגלל האינטרנט שלי, שיניתי את זה ל6000. בואו נראה אם זה באמת יעבוד. Anyway, 20 לדצמבר, District Court, courtroom מספר 4. Defense, prosecution, and judge. There are even people in the gallery. The roof has been completely blown off and the walls have collapsed. But today, this ruin is my battleground. Let's go. Day 1, גם אפילו שזה technically day 2. The day 1 לבלקוול trial, אבל day 2 ל... לא, זה לא technically day 3? לקייס של קלייטרן? או שאני מפספס משהו? כן, הכל נראה בסדר בינתיים שזה טוב, אז בוא ניגש בעצם ל-obvious. Court, or some facsimile thereof, is now in session for the trial of Athena Sykes. על ההתחלה, אוקיי. על ההתחלה, תודה רבה באמת, אורה. הגיע הזמן להפעיל את ה-voice mode. זה אחד השתמשתי. נראה לי זה היה אחד שהשתמשתי. כן, אני אקח פשוט את זה, פאק את, אני אקח את זה ויאללה.
Not a facsimile old man. This is a proper official trial. Take this more seriously or you'll start hearing the bones of the hostages snap.
not to upset Miss Blackwell. I'm begging you. Court is now in session for the very serious and very proper trial of Rufina Sykes. Seriously, על ההתחלה וכבר בדיחות, וואו. וואי, שחוט שצריך לעשות את הקול של אג'וורף פה. This is no trial. It's nothing more than a ridiculous farce.
What did you say?
Edgeworth, did you not hear what I just said to his honor? However, this ridiculous farce has a very important meaning for our legal system. Recall the case of the UR1 incident, in which a prosecutor was found guilty of murder. That case ushered in the arduous dark age of the law.
I see what you're after. If we can find the real truth behind that case today...
Precisely. The darkness will be dispelled and glory shall be restored to the court system. Prosecutor Edgeworth, you sound as if you know something of this truth. I do indeed. A new suspect has emerged in the UR1 case. שקוראים לו לפני Sykes. For 7 years, Savon Blackwell has refused to speak in order to cover for someone else. Brace yourself, Phoenix. Here it comes. I'm sorry, White, but the situation is what it is. But the situation is what it is, and I must do what I must. The prosecution moves to indict Alphina Sykes on the count of the murder in the first degree. למה כזה שוק פה? Oh! כן, קצת תגביר בווליום.
Regardless the circumstance, I intend to question the defendant with all I have. For that is a part of my creed.
Okay. Sure, Miles.
Then you'd better bring it.
If the two of you are ready. Court is now in session for the trial of Athena Sykes.
Let's go!
Your Honor, the defense was born ready.
The prosecution is also ready.
Ooh. Wow, it's a madness של court. אוקיי, עכשיו הוריד את זה קצת לזה שהכל לא יהיה בעצם אקו. This immense tension between us. It's like we're picking up right where we left off. It is my duty to clear Prosecutor Blackwell of false accusations and end this insanity. But I have no intention of losing Miss Sykes either. She's a very promising young lawyer. I know without a doubt that Athena is innocent. I don't think Prosecutor Blackwell did it either. היה spy. היה סוכן חשאי. חשאי? Whatever. The true culprit is a spy. It's going to be hard to convince anyone of that when I barely believe it myself. But I don't have a choice if I want to save Athena and Blackwell and expose the spy. Now then, Chief Prosecutor Edgeworth. No need for the Chief Prosecutor bit, Your Honor. I'm here as a simple prosecutor. Very well. Your opening statement, please, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Although I've been known to late to give an impressive opening statement myself. In all the trials that I've ever seen, only the prosecution gives an opening statement. Of course, you're right. I was just joking. Just having a little fun. So he wasn't doing them just out of fear? Interesting. Let's start with a brief overview of the Year 1 incident. The incident occurred in the Cosmos Space Center 7 years ago on October 7th. The victim, psychologist Metis Sykes, was killed in the robotics lab on the 4th floor. Athena's mother, Simon Blackwell, a young prosecutor at the time, was found guilty of the crime. There were two deciding factors that led to his guilty verdict. One, Blackwell was the only person in the corridor to the lab at the time of the murder. And two, this photo, which captured the moment of the crime. Very incriminating evidence indeed. It would appear that the only conclusion is that Prosecutor Blackwell did indeed. Oh. Wow, okay!
Are you kidding me? I'm not accepting any conclusion of the kind. This opening statement is over. Now hurry up and call the witness.
Excuse me, Miss Blackwell, but you must follow proper procedure for these things, you know? Or perhaps you should hear her wishes, Your Honor. She is the child's sponsor, after all. Sponsor? Seriously? לא הייתי קורא לזה בהכרח ספונסר, מתי שאחד מהצורות של העבודה שלה זה ליטרלי קריים בפני עצמו. זה ליטרלי פשע בפני עצמו. Besides, my courtroom is chilly and sitting for too long can't be good for your back. Oh, you are very kind to show such concern to the welfare of the elderly. As skilled as ever playing the court puppeteer, I see. The prosecution calls its first witness. Witness will decide to bring forth new testimony after 7 long years. New testimony? And just who is this witness anyway? Okay, what? Huh? Bobby Fulbright's the name! In Justice we trust! What are you doing here? I'm just here to speak for the hostage taker, Miss Aura Blackwell. She says she's too busy, what with confining and threatening the hostages and all. Seriously? Doesn't seem to stop her from constantly chiming in for Kronko.
I am nothing but a mere observer in this. Do your best. I'm watching you.
Believing her brother to be innocent, Miss Blackwell has been conducting her own investigation. And though her current actions are hardly lawful, I think we can at least hear her theory. I have here Miss Blackwell's notes on the investigation she conducted. And I'll be giving testimony based on these notes. Here I go! Okay, sure. Bon après, I guess. Simon isn't the murderer. He was trying to cover for someone. Someone else was at the scene of the crime. They say Simon committed the murder. I mean, if he really was out to steal that moon rock, then why the ruling case? Because he was using it to hide someone inside, that's why. And the only person small enough to fit inside that case was Athena Sykes. And that's Miss Blackwell's theory. It totally goes in the face of the official ruling, huh? About the case she mentions, there were other rolling cases like that one in the lab. But they're not for traveling. They're apparently for moving parts and equipment. I think I remember seeing 3 cases, all different sizes. At the last trial, they thought that Prosecutor Blackwell used the case to steal the rock. And they had a perfectly good reason to think that too. You see, there's a security camera in the corridor that leads to the robotics lab. And that camera captured footage of Blackwell leaving the scene with the case. I can see why that footage helped to bring his trial to a quick end. Very convincing, that's for sure. מה שאני אומר כאן ככוכבית זה לא הקייסים האלה שמופיעים פה תאורטית היו הורגים את אפינה. כאילו אני מרגיש שהמזוודות האלה, גם אם נכניס את הגדול ביותר, אפינה פשוט תיחנק שמה. מתי שהיא הייתה כמה? בת 11. 7 years ago. היא הייתה בת 11, אני די בטוח שהיא פשוט תיחנק שמה. אז כן, בוא נגיד יש room for doubt. Very convincing, that's for sure. Okay, תודה על update. That case, by the way, was later discovered outside on the Space Center grounds. Speaking of after the incident, where was the defendant Athena Sykes found? It was found on the 5th floor of the Space Center, in the Sykes family residence. Young Blackwell most likely brought her there after the incident. In addition, it's unknown where Miss Sykes was at the estimated time of death. Miss Sykes was too confused by the shock of her mother's death to give proper testimony. And there was no witness or evidence to tell us where she might have been. So what you're saying is Miss Sykes didn't have an alibi? That is what the evidence is saying, yes. I understand the reasoning behind the theory, but I'm far too convinced. The victim is the accused's mother. Are you actually claiming an 11-year-old girl? Of course, the girl had a very strong motive. Miss Sykes was a psychologist who wrote many papers about speech and emotion. You're aware of Athena Sykes' special ability, aren't you, Your Honor? Are you referring to that therapy thing? Yeah, she's done it quite a few times in court. The ability to read emotions from speech, and the subject of her mother's research. Well, as long as it benefits society, I don't see any particular problem researching it. I don't like where this is heading, not one bit. Dr. Sykes was so intent on her research, she forced her daughter to undergo experiments. Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you seriously suggesting? I've done my best to be delicate, but even you can't deny it to be true, Mr. Wright. No longer able to withstand the anguish of the experiments, Miss Sykes felt her only choice was to kill her own mother. No! Okay. אולי, במיוחד שילדים קטנים הם יותר מניאקים. בוא נגיד ככה, אז אולי. Order in the court! What a tragic story, I hardly want to believe it myself. But we must proceed. Mr. Wright, if you could, Detective Fulbright, please refer to the notes. וואו, זה נראה כזה קלאסי. Simon isn't the murderer was trying to cover someone. Someone was also at the scene of the crimes, saying that Simon committed the murder. I mean, if he really was going to steal Moon Rock, then why the rolling case? Because it was using it to hide someone inside, that's why. The other person smart enough to fit inside the case was Athena Sykes. בוא נגיד, אני זורק את זה into questioning, כי אני לא בטוח אם היא בכלל תוכל בעצם לשרוד. איזה קומה זה? לא. אוקיי. מהקומה הרביעית רובוטיקס לאב? מהקומה הרביעית פה זה בערך הרובוטיקס לאב? כל הדרך לרזידנס בקומה החמישית. כן, יש מעלית, אבל אני עדיין בוא נגיד שיש room for doubt.
Hold it!
This rolling case. I suppose you mean the one that existed in the photo with Prosecutor Blackwell in it. But was absent when the crime scene photos were taken? Yes, that's the one. And Miss Blackwell has drawn a conclusion from these two photos. She has? And what is that conclusion? Show the one with her notes. Oh, right, of course. Read them now. Oh, why the rolling case? Because I was trying to use it to hide someone. Someone else was the sin. The time they say Simon committed the murder.
Hold it!
But that's just speculation.
Objection!
Oh, Miss Blackwell has proper grounds for her claims.
Objection!
Then why didn't you say so in the first place?
Objection!
Oh boy. The one who screamed hold it and cut me off. Fine, so maybe I jumped the gun by a teeny weeny bit. Now I know what they mean when they say close enough to argue. Moving on. He's using it to
Hold it!
And how do you propose you're the person inside one of those cases? You forgot that we saw just the thing only the other day. At your own daughter's magic show. She fit a grown person into a small box. Ah, yeah! I need to run the memory of a good day. A magic show? I wish you would have thought to invite me. Wow! Actually, I would have liked to go too. My apologies. I'll invite you both next time, I promise. So, wait a minute, what were we talking about again? Prosecutor Blackwell is using the case to hide someone. And that person can only be Athena Sykes.
Hold it!
So, Prosecutor Blackwell willingly accepted a death sentence to protect someone else. Yes! That's precisely what Miss Blackwell appears to believe. And that is what I believe as well. Prosecutor Blackwell is no murderer, Mr. Wright. Athena Sykes certainly didn't kill anyone either, Mr. Edgeworth. So, it appears that neither of us can go easy on the other. Fine, I expected no less. I remember this tense atmosphere. It's so invigorating. My only really notes here, but yeah. I feel extra invigorated too. So let's keep going. נראה לי זה אמור להיות פרס על הכל. כי אין שום קונקרט אבידנס שאני יכול להגיד. But that's nothing more than conjecture. It's hardly the only possibility. In that case, what do you think Pascal Black will have in that case? I think it was the moon rock.
Objection!
There were 3 cases of the sea, but Pascal Black will use the largest one. The moon rock was egg-shaped and only about 8 inches in diameter. It wouldn't have made any sense to use the largest case there just to move that rock.
Objection!
Even as it may, doesn't prove Miss Sykes was inside. Well, let me ask you this. Can you come up with a better theory of what was in that case? Well, Mr. Wright, can you? Thanks. Give you guys some time to think. Let's see. Shall I try and bluff my way through this? My way through what could have been in that case? Yes! Literally yes, כדי עשיתי פרסים להכל. I know exactly what Prosecutor Black will carry from the scene. Just have to find something else that was missing, right? No sweat. Oh, I'd be very interested in hearing your theory. If it's true, that is. This is the crime scene photo taken after Prosecutor Blackwell left, correct? What we have to do is compare this with this photo of Prosecutor Blackwell to see what's with. Oh. 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 נראה שאשכרה עשיתי blunder to success. If he took something with him, then it should be in one of these photos. Good luck, don't fail me now. All right, Mr. Wright. Let us hear your theory. What did Prosecutor Blackwell take from the scene of the murder?
Take that!
Japanko. Please notice that there's a robot part on the top of the card in this photo. However, in this photo taken after the crime, the robot part is gone. In other words, this part is something that was taken from the scene of the crime. You appear to be right. I don't see it in the second picture. It's just a piece of junk. How important could it be? Is it really just an insignificant robot part? Speaking of which...
What are you looking at? I'm gonna start charging for each glance per eyeball.
Stingy. What happened at the age of free previews? כן, הכל קפיטליסטי, כולם רק רוצים את הכסף. Your Honor, about this robot part. Does it look like it could be an arm for that robot there? Well, now that you mention it, it does, doesn't it? But the case is still too big to be practical for just the moonrock and the robot arm. Was it really just one arm that was in there? If it wasn't the Athena in the case, then maybe. Maybe there was another robot at the scene that looks just like the one here. Your Honor, it is an offensive assertion that it was this other robot that was at the case. Oh my god, my What?
Objection!
אפשר לראות את זה על פי זה כשכאילו, אני אומרת זה obvious, אבל הכל אשכרה נראה הרוס. גם אפילו בווייד שוט, שזה קצת הפתיע אותי. Can't be certain that pod belonged to a robot. Yes, it looks like the arm in the one before us, but it could be something else entirely. Besides, it's wrapped entirely in bandages, making it difficult to verify what it is.
Objection!
I know for a fact that it is a robot arm. I can't even tell which robot it belonged to, just by looking at it. With this information, we can investigate whether it was there at the time or not. Mr. Wright, I thought you were more of the technologically illiterate type. What? How did you become such an expert? I feel somehow abandoned. אבל גם זה שתקוע בעבר, אוקיי. Not to worry, Your Honor. I still know next to nothing about machines. But I know this piece of evidence proves which robot that belonged to. Come, I guess?
Take that!
Okay. The robot in this picture is named Ponko. But take a look at Ponko's arm. It was Miss Sykes who bandaged him like that. I must have thought that machines heal the same way that people do. What an adorable, naive mistake. It reminds me of my own grandchild. The robot arm at the crime scene had the same bandaging wrapped around it. In other words, this robot arm could belong to none other than Ponko. Finally! Order the court! Order, I say! Professor Edgeworth, what do you have to say to this? I concede that the robot is about the same size as a child. But it cannot grab its knees and curl itself up into a ball. Even if it was the largest of cases, the robot couldn't have possibly fit in there. The case does come up about mid-July or Prosco Blackwell. I see your point. The robot is much taller than that. They've got me there. So, did Prosco Blackwell make Ponko in the case of dismantle? Of course Ponko would fit. All Prosco Blackwell had to do was to dismantle her. Once taken apart, the robot could have easily fit inside that rolling case. Oh! במיוחד מתי שיש את המכונה הזאתי. המכונה איפה שמטיס מתה. Interesting. It sounds rather violent, but Mr. Wright does have a point there.
Objection!
Except that there was a body on the table where robots are dismantled and assembled. There would have been no room to take the robot apart.
Objection!
But what if it wasn't on the table? What if the katana was used instead? You mean the sword? Yes, Your Honor. Miss Blackwell, I would like your opinion as a woman of science. Is it true that the katana could have been used to take the robot apart?
I suppose so. Joints are made of a very tough material. A blade could slice through them.
Thank you for your expert opinion, Miss Blackwell. Thanks to you, we now know that the existence of the severed arm in this photo proves that Ponko was taken apart. In addition, since the rest of Ponko was not found at the scene, we can conclude that the true meaning of this photo is very different from the original interpretation. You can't mean? That's exactly what I But I mean, this photo does not capture the moment of the murder. It is instead a picture of the moment after the robot was sliced apart. The blood you see where the arm was cut off was transferred there by the bloody katana. Most likely, the rest of Ponko is shot around Prosecutor Blackwell's feet.
Not hearing this.
Therefore, what was transported inside that case was not the defendant, but a robot. Miss Sykes was never at the scene of the crime at the time. Was never at the scene at the time of the murder.
Ah! My head! Body! Where am I? Ah!
Wow, okay. אז זה שהייתי מוכן. Horror? Horror in the court? It's true that Ponko was found in pieces after the murder. Oh, fuck. Okay. Sorry, there you go.
It's true that Parker was found in pieces after the murder, and I'll admit I reported her myself afterwards.
Okay, the 10th update. Yes! Finally making some progress. Hopefully I've gotten at least one step closer to proving both Athena and Prosecutor Blackwell innocent.
Objection!
מה עכשיו, מיילס? מה עכשיו? Well played, Mr. Wright. You've made your point abundantly clear. I consider it wasn't the defendant inside the rolling case, but the robot. Alright, what's going on here? It's never good when he plays things this straight. Does the prosecution withdraw its claim that the defendant was carried from the scene? No, Your Honor. My claim hasn't changed.
Objection!
But Ponko and Miss Sykes couldn't have both been inside the case.
Objection!
The notion that the case was used to carry Miss Sykes was Miss Blackwell's theory. I have been of a different opinion from the outset. Now I finally have the opportunity to voice my theory. כן, כי אמרתי את זה קודם logically. יש סיכוי שהייתה נחנקת אם הייתה בתוך המזוודה. Thanks to the defense. Dwarf, he's been one step ahead of me all this whole time. In that case, how do you propose the defendant left the crime scene? Simple. The footage only shows Prosecutor Blackwell from behind. What's more, he's holding his arm in front of his body, as if he were to be holding someone or something. That's hardly evidence. I have proof. This surcoat Prosecutor Blackwell was wearing. The victim's blood was found on the front of it, and the stain had a slightly distinctive shape. A blood stain with a distinctive shape? Please continue, Prosecutor Edgeworth. 7 years ago, the defendant was known to constantly wear a certain item. Of which there is only one in the world. A special pair of headphones made just for her. Analysis showed that the bloodstain to be in the exact same shape as these headphones. Oh my god, I love Holy. In other words, there was no mere blood splatter. The blood went from the victim's body to the headphones and then was imprinted onto Prosecutor Blackwell's coat like a stamp. A most gruesome stamp indeed. Blackwell carried Miss Sykes, who had been hit by a splatter away from the crime scene. This proves that Athena Sykes was, without a question, present at the crime scene. that concludes the prosecution's argument. Wow! אוקיי, וואו! שאפו, מיילס! לוקח את הלוג'יק הזה ועובר לעולם הבא. יפה, מיילס. Order? If the defendant was indeed at the scene, it deepens the suspicion against her.
Objection!
But it also shown that the robot was there at the scene as well.
Objection!
רובוטים לא יכולים להרוג, לפי החוקים. לפי ה-free laws of robotics, אם אני לא תקון את זה. Hope you're not making a ridiculous claim that simple robot was the real murderer. I really don't think that, no, but you can't deny the possibility isn't there. Detective Fulbright, was the robot questioned at the time? No, that's the only record of it. I believe it was considered unrelated to the case. But, as it turns out, the robot was actually integrally related. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Ponko to the stand. A robot witness? לא לדאוג, קראנו פאקינג לאורקה, קראנו לטוקי, היה פאקינג פיראטים, היה קסמים, היה אפילו פאקינג רוחות. What is there not to understand? Order in the court. Prosecutor Edgeworth, what do you think about this? Mr. Wright has called all manners of witnesses to the stand over the years. So I am a robot. Nothing surprises me anymore with him. Very well. We'll allow this witness. Bailiff, please summon the robot named Ponko. לא, אוקיי. עכשיו אני מבין פה בעיה. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
My name is not Witness. My name is Ponko.
Yes, I realize that. But when you are the witness stand, you are the witness. Oh my god.
No, I'm not. I'm Ponko. Say it with me. Ponko.
What an utterly inflexible robot. You're the last person who should be called anybody inflexible. Remind me of my grandchild who just learned his own name. Oh, how precious. Alright, Ponko. I'm going to ask you some questions.
Questions? You have questions? Hooray! What are your questions?
I want to know if you were there at the scene of the murder of Metis Sykes. It was 7 years ago, on the 7th of October, around 2 p.m. in the robotics lab.
Certainly. Just for a moment. Searching data. Search complete. Yes, I was there in the robotics lab.
Okay, well, I was like, easy. It would seem this robot's testimony is necessary to this case after all. This is great! This new Ponko must have seen something important. בעיניי זה אומר משהו ממש obvious. הקולפרט, מישהו בעצם היה, לא יכול להיות אורה בלקוול. ברצח של מטס, בלי קשר ל-opportunity, הזיכרון של הרובוט, רוב הסיכויים היה נמחק. בואו נהיה כנים. רוב הסיכויים הזיכרון היה בעצם נמחק. אז כן, אם הזיכרון אף פעם לא נמחק, אז זה אומר שפונקו זוכר. או זוכרת, whatever. murder Carmilla right before this poor little girl's eyes. It's inexcusable. She just seems ready to adopt Ponko as another grandchild. Oh, little Ponko. Do you think you can give us your testimony today? Oh boy, here we go again.
I went to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis. And then Mommy Metis fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything. After I charged up, I was cleaning the room, and Mr. Simon came in. And then an error occurred. There is no data after that point.
Okay, sure, I guess. Well, it sounds like the defendant was without question at the scene. However, it doesn't appear that the witness saw the actual moment of the murder. I disagree. This testimony shows that the defendant did indeed commit the crime. What? At the end of the day, we mustn't forget that this witness is still a machine. Being a robot, its understanding and capacity to express itself are limited. So, what are you suggesting? The witness statements need to be interpreted. For example, the terms hugged and then later fell down. Adults don't usually fall down after being hugged by a child. They don't, but... Yes, what this witness's statements are telling us is... that the defendant stabbed the victim with the murder weapon during this moment. What? Okay, sure, I guess. Before Miss Sykes hugged Dr. Sykes, the two of them converse. לפני שנמשיך פה לרגע, כי אני הולך להיות בקול הרובוטי. במיוחד בעידן המודרני. לא רובוטים יכולים בעצם לדבר על מוות בלי בעיות?
Yes, they did. They spoke to each other very loudly, but I don't know what they said. Athena is usually so quiet, so I was surprised.
Spoke very loudly. We can interpret this to mean they argued. I see. Murder after him argument. And then the victim fell down. כוכבית. אם זה נכון, זה נחשב ל-first degree? הנה כוכבית קטנה. אם זה נכון באמת, זה נחשב בעצם ברמה הראשונה? argument ברמה הראשונה? כי לי זה נשמע כמו ברמה השנייה, שזה כאילו יותר חלש בהשוואה. וגם היא פאקינג ילד. I agree that it does sound like a reasonable interpretation. However, Ponko doesn't seem to remember anything that happened after that.
When I am recharging, I go into sleep mode. But I remember everything before that. I have a very good memory.
You may as well admit defeat now, right? The cross-examination would be useless. Fuck it, understand. Don't be ridiculous. A cross-examination is never useless. Until now. Think about it. Robots don't lie. This robot is both an important witness and valuable evidence at the same time. Nevertheless, I will have my cross-examination. כי אולי הרובוט לא מספר דברים. So you haven't changed. You never were the one to worry about wasting time.
Very well. Even if it may be a waste of time, you may proceed, Mr. Wright.
I'll show you both just how fruitful any cross-examination can be. Oh my god, איך ה-voice mod V3 היה עוזר לי. But alright, explore for my regular recharging, just about the charger of Fina came in and hugged my medics. Then my medics fell down after I was recharging, I don't know anything. After I charged up, I was cleaning around, Mr. Simon came in. Then an error occurred, there's no data after that. אם ככה צריך לדבר על interpretation.
Hold it!
Which Edward took to mean stabbed her with a weapon. You said the two of them were talking before Miss Sykes hugged her mother. Is that right?
Yes, they were talking very loudly, but I couldn't tell what they were saying.
Couldn't tell. Even though they were speaking so loudly?
I am only allowed to listen to voices that are directed at me.
If it listened to every voice, it would be a little better than a mobile eavesdropper. Oh, that explains why some of Panka's testimony is so vague. It's a shame that our little friend wasn't listening in, however. We could have learned what they were talking about just before Dr. Sykes was killed. Now then, what happened after that?
Hold it!
I want to delve too deeply here, but... Could you tell us how the victim appeared and acted at this moment?
Mummy Metis was very surprised when she was hugged. I heard her heart pound.
Her heart? Mr. Wright, have you forgotten about this document we found in the robotics lab? These robots have a heartbeat detection system. Now that he mentions it, I do remember reading something like that there. I can detect the presence of people by the sound of their heartbeats. Oh, wait a minute. That means... if Dr. Sykes really did die at this moment... Ponko! How was Dr. Sykes after she fell down? Could you still hear the sound of her heartbeat?
Let's see. The moment she fell, her heart was pounding. After that, I don't know. I started recharging just then.
Of all of the unlucky timing! If you had heard anything after that, it could have possibly prove that the hug wasn't actually the moment of the murder.
I'm very sorry. I'm afraid I don't know. I'm very sorry.
A robot is designed to go into sleep mode automatically, so it can't be hoped. רגע שנייה אחת אני צריך לבדוק משהו. אוקיי, הכל בסדר. But it does appear to detect an increased heart rate at the moment of the stabbing.
After Mummy Metis' heart stopped pounding in surprise. She fell by the window. It was a round window on the workbench side of the room.
Hey, what? The workbench, huh? Uncle must be talking about that table to the right where the giant robot is now. Something critical punk. Yes. חייב להיות. בואי נעשה סייב בתוך הסייפר שלי, כי נראה שהכל יוצא בסדר. There is something. Your Honor, I believe this statement is critical. I'll likely add it to her testimony. Very well. Ponko, could you please add that statement to your testimony? That's a good little girl.
Mommy Metis fell down near the round window on the workbench side of the room.
דבר שאני אומר כאן שהוא הכי obvious. זה איפה שהיא נמצאת.
Objection!
אוקיי, יופי. Ponko, your statement may have just inspired a breakthrough.
I was helpful? Hooray! I'm so happy!
Just to be sure, let's go over it again, okay? The victim fell near the window on the workbench side of the room. However, her body was found on the assembly machine. Her body was discovered on the operating table. At the operating table and the workbench are two different locations. Exactly, Your Honor. We've just learned a new critical fact. What could explain the two very different locations of the body? I'll tell you what. The victim moved. כי the defendant moved the body אומר כלום. The defendant moved the body אומר כלום. An 11-year-old girl couldn't have moved the heavy body of an adult. So the only explanation is that the victim walked to the operating table herself. אוקיי, שנייה אחת, אני כבר חוזר, אני רגע צריך לבדוק משהו. אוקיי, חזרתי, מצטער על זה. כל הזמן הייתה דיליי של 10 שניות. אני אחזור על זה עוד פעם. So, the only explanation is that the victim walked to the operating table herself. In other words, what Ponko observed near the workbench could possibly have been the moment of the murder. Okay. Whew. I am very relieved to hear that. Glad to know that the murder wasn't committed in front of little Ponko here. Yes, as we just heard in the testimony, Miss Sykes hugged her mother, nothing more.
Objection!
As I fell down? Right. It's been 8 years and you're still just as green as ever. Green? I can't recall ever seeing Mr. Wright in anything but a blue suit. והוורוד, טכנית. אבל לא ירוק. Hey, blue's my favorite color. What can I say? אני אדום. If the defendant couldn't move the body herself, she could have had it moved for her. Moved for her? But Miss Sykes and Dr. Sykes were the only ones there. I agree. Since this robot is equipped with a heartbeat detection system, it would have been aware of another person's presence if someone else had been there. We can therefore conclude that the defendant and the victim were the only ones present. Hey, would you suggest move the body? Don't you know it's in the nature of a robot to help people do things? Miss Panko, allow me to ask you a question. Wow, Panko.
My name is Panko. Say it with me. Panko.
I believe you said that you were cleaning after Dr. Sykes fell down. Did you happen to move something large onto the operating table?
Yes, I did. Athena asked me to.
Athena asked you to. And what did you move, little Panko?
I don't know. Unless somebody has an ID tag, I can't tell what it is.
An ID tag, you say?
Yes, a tag with a barcode on it. We robots scan them and tell us what the thing is.
כאילו אנחנו בעצם נמצאים בתוך סופרמרקט והולכים לעשות קניות. That paper in the lab did mention something about that. Recognizes people who are scanning their spacesuit or uniform jacket ID tag, it said. So it would appear that Miss Panko here can't identify what it moved.
My name is Panko.
But we humans have the power of to imagine what it was, do we not? We do? I do at the very least. Miss Panko, on the defendant's command, you move the body. Under the defendant's command, move the body onto the operating table. No! Interesting. Panko, did you really move Dr. Sykes' body? This is really important. Isn't there any way you could tell?
I don't know. Without my ID tag, I can't tell.
Give it up, right? If the victim's heart has stopped, the robot's detection system would be useless. Furthermore, Dr. Sykes usually wore her white coat while she was working. She kept the jacket with her ID tag on it, draped on a chair in the robotics lab, and only wore it for special occasions. In other words, the victim wasn't wearing her ID tag at the time. From the robot's point of view, her body was simply just another object.
Objection!
But Panko is equipped with facial recognition system. If she really did move the victim, she would have recognized the body as Dr. Sykes. But she didn't, so that means...
Objection!
A face can easily be covered with a piece of cloth, a mask, or anything else for that matter. With her facial features hidden, the robot wouldn't be able to tell it was Dr. Sykes. He's right. To summarize, Miss Sykes stabbed her mother near the workbench, then, using the robot, she moved the body to the table where she removed the sword that was stained in blood. לא נתנה מזה שילדה בת 11 יכולה להרים קטנה. אני לא יודע מה זה בדיוק בעברית, כי זה חרב יפנית, אז אומרים קטנה. אני לא יודע בדיוק איך ילדה בת 11 יכולה להרים דבר כזה. הייתי אומר שזה די כבד, במיוחד עם הפאקינג מבנה גוף שלה בגיל 11. אפילו ב-18 היא לא נראית כזאת חזקה. ליטרלי, איך היא יכולה להרים את החרב? Order. But if that's the case, now I have a question.
Why did the defendant move the body to the operating table in the first place?
You want the reason? Very well.
What? You can't possibly have an explanation.
Your emotions blind you to the truth. You could learn a lot from our robot friends. Calm and rational thought will open your eyes to the truth in front of you, Mr. Wright. Now then, do you remember the operating table's one special feature?
I believe I read the robots can be assembled and disassembled there. Isn't that right?
That's right. And the defendant was just a child at the time. The table was like a magic box that could make robots appear or disappear in seconds.
אוקיי, קצת חביב, אוקיי. זה אמור לי... זה, אוקיי. קצת, באמת אני חייב להגיד את זה. זה מרגיש לי כמו Five Nights at Freddy's. זה מרגיש לי כמו פנאף. רק הרבה יותר קומפלקס. שזה מוזר להגיד, כי פנאף יצא שנתיים לאחר מכן. אם מסתכלים בעצם על הרליז של Dual Destinies, זה היה 2012, מקסימום 2013. Five Nights at Freddy's יצא ב8 לאוגוסט 2014. לפחות שנה לאחר מכן. אז קצת מוזר להגיד שזה כמו, זה סוג של Five Nights at Freddy's רפרנס, אבל... אנחנו נמצאים בעידן המודרני, אז מה אפשר להגיד? You can possibly be suggesting
This young, sheltered girl had a difficult time distinguishing robots from people.
take a look at Ponko's arm. It was Miss Sykes who bandaged it up like that. Oh. Oh, the flashback. Okay, לא משנה. Sorry. Oh, wait. I refuse to believe it.
Miss Sykes made a childish, naive, and cruel mistake. She thought that if a robot could be dismantled and vanish without a trace.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, if you're about to claim what I think you are, I demand that you word it as delicately as you can.
With all due respect, Your Honor, all I can do is present the truth as it stands. The reason the defendant moved the victim's body to the operating table...
Hold it!
No! Don't say another word! Just stop!
was to dismantle the evidence so that she could get away with her own crime.
That can't be...
Wow.
זה אשכרה fucked up. זה אשכרה fucked up, אם זה מה שקורה. כי זה סוג של sister location. מי שזוכר מתי שאני עשיתי את ה-full playthrough של sister location, חוץ מנייט 4 כי השליטה שם עם חרא. ואין עוד נייט כי הייתי אמור לנצח, fuck you. בריל אנדינג, ככה קוראים לזה, בריל אנדינג, לטרלי היה את הסקופ של מייק. אז פתאום יש את כל זה. Order! Order in the court! Order in the court, I say! Edgeworth, she was just a little kid. How can you say such a horrible thing?
Horrible? Like I said, you're just as green as ever. I came here today as a prosecutor to seek only the truth. No more, no less. My theory is simply the result of a rational consideration of every possibility.
Objection!
But dismantling isn't the table's only function. It can make repairs as well. It's conceivable that Miss Sykes moved her mother to the table in order to fix her. I suppose there could be another way of interpreting it. But dismantle or repair, it doesn't matter either way. What do you mean? After murdering her mother, Miss Sykes may have come to her senses. Perhaps she did want to make it appear as if it had never happened. And that's why she tried to repair her mother. Yes, that's one plausible explanation. But we must forget the fact of the case. The facts of this case. The victim was observed to fall down after being hugged by the defendant, and the body was moved per the defendant's command. These two facts that indicate the defendant's guilt remain unchanged. This just can't be true! Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence to refute the prosecution's claim? Evidence? Right. Let's see. I can't think of any. I'm afraid I don't have any evidence. Since becoming chief prosecutor, I've learned that the truth isn't always pretty. Now, accept the truth, Mr. Wright. Your subordinate murdered her own mother. Your Honor, the prosecution demands a verdict. The hostages have suffered enough. What a terrible and tragic conclusion. If the defense has no counter-argument, I see no need to further prolong this trial. Joe's argument seems solid enough, but... There's no way I think I could have ever done anything like that. I do. There has to be something. But I can't think of a single thing. Wow. Mr. Oh. Prosecutor Blackwell. Hey, Simon, Mama Tom. You got as much as you thought about it. This is quite the farce you're conducting here. I could die from laughter. Prosecutor Blackwell, what were you talking about? What I'm talking about is that your argument is based on an entirely false premise. Go on, we're listening. Could this be the miracle I need? What is Prosecutor Blackwell trying to pull here? 7 years. 7 long years. This case has been on my mind, that for an instant did I not think of it. I'm the one who killed my mentor. I don't think you can alter that fact now. Your boldness. I will take the stand. I won't take no for an answer. Of course, Prosecutor Blackwell. Please, go ahead. Sure. I went to the Cosmos Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Sykes. But when I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there instead. I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Sykes to return. And then I committed the act. Ah, how cathartic it was. A little punker here witnessed the victim falling. In other words...
Objection!
I don't need any of your other words, old man. I can guess what happened. Which would be... She fell means she fell. Merely that. A mother and child fooling around. Perhaps she tripped. Not that it matters. When I entered the lab, there was no trace of Dr. Sykes to be seen. There was no dead body either. Of course. Meaning she must have left the room. So, the murder occurred after the time period Parker described in her testimony. You should hardly take stock in the words of a wind-up toy.
Objection!
Then how do you explain the fact that the defendant had the robot move something? Athena was always tinkering with robots on the operating table to amuse herself. And she always had Parker move the heavy ones for her. That day was no different. Parker moved the heavy robot for Athena. This is awful. What he's saying seems to make sense, and yet...
Objection!
Pascal Blackwell, are you trying even now to turn away from the truth? Don't you realize we could bring that dark age of the law to a close today?
Objection!
You expect too much from me. I'm just a murderer beyond redemption. Why don't you just let me go so I can settle down into hell? Magadat? Pascal Blackwell's execution is tomorrow. If the truth doesn't come out now, it's all over. Are you saying that the little girl and the robot had nothing to do with the murder? That's right. So let's hear your verdict. If you don't hurry, I might miss the ferry across the sticks. Oh, okay, yes, a robot. Okay, yes, a robot action.
Don't you dare, Judge! Don't forget what I have hostages over here. And Simon, how long are you going to cover for her?
Miss Blackwell? Forgive me, Aura. I never wanted you to do anything like this for me. But you agreed to this trial. If you have a counter-argument, then present your evidence. That's the rule of the courtroom. Isn't that right, Chief Prosecutor? Blackwell, you selfish! Well, to be frank, I don't like this, but it's my duty to make a decision. If no one has a counter-argument, I will announce my verdict. Is this really happening? Is it going to end just like it did 7 years ago? נראה לי זה היה חלק מהפלאשבק, אז אני לא צריך להגיד את זה. I can't let this happen. But I just don't have the evidence to counter Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony. מי עכשיו? Oh! Athena! What are you... Are you feeling okay? I can hear it. I can hear the voice of his heart. He's hiding something. If he really is, I could sure use Athena's help here. Power might just be the thing to get us through this.
Objection!
Sykes, Donald! No need for you to chime in here. Just accept that you're innocent.
Objection!
These past 7 years, they've been just as hard on me, you know.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember that horrible trial?
אני אחשב את זה כפלאשבק, אני כבר עשיתי את זה.
Even now, Every time I stand in the courtroom, it comes back to haunt me.
Huh.
Not being heard, no matter how hard you try. Feeling so helpless. Climbing people's stairs. So scared it feels like your chest is in a vice. In a vice, Nelly? I'm terrified of courtrooms. I want to run out of that door even now. And yet you found a way to keep your fears at bay and become a lawyer. This day has finally come, that I have been looking forward to with all my heart. This is why I became a lawyer. This is why I studied psychology. It was all to save you from this false conviction. But Miss Sykes, do you realize what it would mean? You are the accused, after all. If you prove Prosecutor Blackwell innocent, then... The only thing that matters is the truth. It's my duty to find out what that truth is. Simon, please give me this chance. A chance to shake off this fear that's been with me for 7 years and to face the truth. He's being so brave. Confronting her past like this. This might really be the last chance to save them both. Prosecutor Blackwell! Please testify one more time about the incident 7 years ago. Fine. But your efforts will surely be in vain. For I am not a man who can be cut down easily. Here we go, Simon. Let me hear the voice of your heart. Let's go. חיכיתי לזה. לא יודעת, לא חיכיתי שיהיה משהו יותר יוניק. Why did the Cosmos Space end up with the intention to kill Dr. Sykes? Why got the robotics of Fina there instead? I will now be spared away from my purpose and wait for Dr. Sykes to return. I didn't commit how cathartic it was. כוכבית. למה היית שמח? יופי. בוא נתחיל למה הוא היה שמח מתי שהוא ראה את פינה. This feeling of happiness. Even though the person you were looking for wasn't there, you felt happy. Why is that? Simple. While I went looking for Athena, I hadn't found her yet. I grew worried. So when I saw her in the robotics lab, I was happily relieved. Merely that. That was easy, what the fuck? Just now you said that you went to the space center to kill Dr. Sykes. But the first thing you did was look for her daughter instead? I had no intention of harming Athena, so I wanted to confirm that she was safe first. It was just a part of my plan. Nothing contradictory about that. It's like I found an inconsistency. He cuts it down. Simon knows the principles of analytical psychology. He has less noise now, but I don't see any instabilities we can latch onto. I was afraid of that. Just have to keep chipping away at him then, bit by bit. Could you update his testimony, Athena? You got it, boss. When I found Athena in the robotics lab, I was relieved. I will not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Sykes to return. And when she did, I plunged the katana in. Okay.
למה זה השתנה משמחה לעצב?
Got it!
Not even you can falsify your emotions, Proskero Blackwell. What? When you said that you killed Dr. Sykes in your testimony, you felt sadness. Why would someone had lain in wait to kill her be so sad at her death? Such an obvious attack. Yes, I felt sadness, but it wasn't for her. I felt sorrow for Athena and her circumstances. He can't be talking about that, can he? Oh. My objective was to save Athena from an obsessive scientist who treated her own daughter like a research subject. What? I went to the psychology lab first. That's where I would usually find Athena playing. But that day was different. I heard someone crying in the robotics lab next door. Was Athena being subjugated to yet another experiment? I thought as I went to see. Conveniently, Athena had cried herself to sleep, so I had to just wait and kill. So that's why he was relieved when he saw Athena. But is this story really true? I'm not sure how much to believe. Mr. Wright? How are you doing, Athena? Still hanging in there? I'm a lot stronger than I look, boss. Now take a look at this. The nice letter was actually What? What? Maze? It went up. Never seen it do that before. Prosecutor Blackwell is lying somewhere in his testimony. As a matter of fact, he's piling up lie on top of a lie in an attempt to make his claims sound more believable. He's trying even harder to suppress his true feelings, and that's what's causing the noise. How in the world should I approach this? זה חדש! זה חדש! לא היה שום מצב שבו הנויז עלה. An evidence-based approach might work if I can find a contradiction. Otherwise, I should look for an inconsistency in his emotions. There are no flaws in my testimony, and his boldness is prepared to give his verdict. Give up on this lost cause and let the law free me from these chains already.
Objection!
I don't think so. Not while I'm around. No, contradictory testimony or inconsistent emotions. But you tackle first. Emotion bent time. And must show me it's obvious the evidence. Okay, let's look for inconsistent emotions. Got it, boss. But if you want to try looking for a contradictory statement instead, just let me know. You can easily switch over. I heard crying from next door. Of course I was worried. I hurried over and opened the door to the robotics lab. But before I could lead Athena out of there, cause my luck Dr. Sykes came in. I refused to hand Athena over, so I had no choice but to kill my mentor. I heard the door open the door in the robotics lab. אין משהו זה קצת יהיה מוזר להגיד. למה לא יצמח? לא. לפחות אני יודע שאין פנלטי פה. בטקסט? There must be an unexpected emotion somewhere, okay.
Got it!
Nope. אם זה אותו טסטימוני, אני לא רואה שום דבר מבחינת evidence.
Got it!
אני יכול לעשות ברוט פורס ולנסות להבין מה קורה פה.
Got it!
אולי זה פה עצב דווקא.
Got it!
לא, הנה עשיתי. Doesn't have to be a final, so I have no choice but to kill him.
Got it! Got it!
Nope. אני אומר למה הוא לא מרגיש שמחה.
Got it!
גם זה שהוא חושב על אופינה, זה לא משחרר אותה.
Got it!
Nope. Good robotics.
Got it! Got it! Got it!
Oh! זה היה טקסט אחר? Let's take another look. אוקיי, לא, זה אותו הדבר. Never mind.
Got it! Got it! Got it! Got it! Got it!
כאילו זה אותו טקסט.
Got it! Got it! Got it!
אני 100% עושה כבר ריפיטס.
Got it!
אוקיי. אני קצת מבולבל פה, אבל אוקיי, בואו נראה מה המשחק מביא לי. How odd. Why would you do a surprise at opening the door to the lab? Alright, fine. I'll explain if I must. What surprised me was Ponko. That toy figure attacked me. Dr. Sykes knew well of my plan to rescue Athena. But she couldn't stand guard over her daughter 24 hours a day. So Dr. Sykes had Ponko do it. That's right. She ordered Ponko to forcibly remove me on sight. So I slashed Ponko with the katana that was there in the lab. Oh! That rickety old puppet was worthy of that fine blade. Mr. Wright, it's happening again! There's even more noise now. 100% now. What's going on here? Whenever we find an opening, he covers it up with lies. We'll never get rid of the noise at this rate. It's pretty hard to keep telling coherent lies like that. His mind and will really are as sharp and strong as a katana. Right, which I could tackle first? Testimony! I think that my big inconsistency in Prosecutor Black was testimony. Alright, let's give it a thorough check then. הלית אולי הייתי מוכן לבדוק טסטימוני בדקה ה-90 אם פתאום לא היה את הנושא הזה של... הוא היה יותר מדי בשוק? I guess? With a feeling of dread, I opened the robotics lab door. Just then. Ponko attacked me. I retaliated by cutting it into pieces. But before I could let Athena out of there, Cosmo like Dr. Sykes came in. I refused to hand Athena over, so I had no choice but to kill my mentor. Obvious עכשיו. Contradictions היה של פונקו. ששם יש אדום, aka dumb. Compounding lies with more lies is never the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. Take a look at this photo. That's this photo of the supposed moment of the murder, isn't it? How many more times must I see that which damned me for my sin? Ironic thing is, I think this picture is actually going to be your savior now. See the blood stain at the end of Ponko's arm where it was severed with the katana? I hope you aren't claiming it's the robot's blood, Mr. Wright. No. No, most definitely the blood was transferred there from the bloody katana. The katana already had blood on it. So they must have been the victim's blood. That's right. But if that's the case, we found a glaring inconsistency. You said in your testimony that you cut up Ponko and then killed Dr. Sykes. But in spite of that, the victim's blood is already on Ponko's arm in this picture. What? But that couldn't be. Exactly. In order for the blood to have transferred from the sword to Ponko's arm, the victim must have been stabbed first, before the robot was slashed. In other words, Prosecutor Blackwell, your entire testimony is nothing but one giant ball of lies. Ah! Tell the truth, Prosecutor Blackwell, now. You have no idea what you're doing. His voice. There is so much discord. הדיסקורד notifications תמיד קופצים לי כל 3 דקות. Here, not just 1 or 2, but a bunch of rampaging emotions here. It's hard to describe. It's like a violent whirlpool or something.
Phoenix, right? You will pay for this. Never have I been forced to reveal so much, but the rest I'll take to my grave.
Prosecutor Blackwell, you are on the witness stand. You're obliged to tell the truth. Isn't the rule of the courtroom? Look, those complex emotions. They seem to be flowing from one source. I think whatever I really saw that day is what's causing these feelings.
Yeah! Gas של הכל?
Okay.
I saw it! That terrible scene! I had no choice but to kill my mentor.
כמה פה? A terrible scene. רגע. לא אמרנו שאפינה דיממה בגלל הסימנים של החולצה של בלקוול? בוא נעשה אפינה דווקא. אם שניהם קשורים לפרוטקשן אחד של השני, היא באה להגן עליו והוא בא להגן עליה. Okay. Let's go. When you opened the door and saw Athena, you became overwhelmed by your emotions. Isn't that right, prosecutor?
You should know better. And though it's pathetic, I admit I'm terrified to speak of it.
Prosecutor Blackwell, Miss Sykes is innocent. I will always believe that with all my heart. Now, can't you find it within yourself to believe in me too?
Athena is innocent, huh? Can you honestly say you believe that to be true, right, Dada?
I give you my word. Now tell me what you really saw when you opened that door.
Curse you, Phoenix, right?
מה קרה?
It was a tragedy, one I'll never forget. When I arrived at the lab, Dr. Sykes was already dead. She was lying on the operating table, while the bloody katana lay on the floor. And standing between the two, whoa! Covered in blood was Athena.
What the whoa? מה הרייטינג של המשחק הזה? Holy shit!
She smiled with a far-off look in her eyes as she sweetly said,
What the fuck?
Something's wrong with Mom. Something her apart to fix her.
What the fuck?
That was what I saw. And now you have it. The truth that you so desperately wanted.
What the fuck? ילדה בת 11 by the way. Holy shit. No.
President Blackwell finally tells the truth? And this is what it is?
It's beyond devastating.
I tried to take my mother apart.
brutali! Holy shit!
So it was me. I'm the one who killed my mother.
Athena! As I said, right? The truth isn't always pretty. Murder, disassembly on an operating table, a scientist using her daughter as a guinea pig. Sadly, it appears that my theory was correct after all.
Objection!
It's true that Athena didn't like her mother's research, but... You dare cast aspirations on my mentor by claiming Athena was used in such a manner? Dr. Sykes could be awful with people. But she loved her daughter with all her heart.
She loved me?
Your mother hated to see you suffer because you could hear the voices of people's hearts. She wanted to set you free of your pain, so she worked tirelessly on her research. Do you remember those headphones you hated so much?
Yes, my head hurt every time I wore them.
No, Athena. It's just the opposite. They emitted sound waves to nullify emotional input from the voices of people around you. The power was much stronger than it is now. And those headphones were what enabled you to carry on with everyday life.
No! That can't be true! Then why? Why would I have done something like that? To somebody who loved me so much?
Her love for you was real, that I can guarantee. That's why I knew. That what happened has to be some kind of mistake. I couldn't let you be punished for it. So you took the blame yourself. You and your mentor are more alike than you know. Ponko was a witness, so put it in the case. Held Athena close and vacated the lab. I threw Ponko in the boarding lounge trash chute. And hid the case in the Space Center grounds. It would seem that now we have all the facts of this case. Oh my god! נראה לי אני אפילו לא חייב להסביר שום דבר בנוגע לעד כמה ברוטלי זה. היא ליטרלי רצחה אותה עם הקטנה, חזרה לעבוד רגיל, הביאה אותה לסקופינג רום, בוא נגיד את זה ככה, בשביל לנסות לתקן את מת... Oh my god. No comment. No comment. Holy shit! Ashka, what the fuck? It would seem that now we have all of the facts of this case.
Hold it!
No, not yet. It can't end like this.
Objection!
Do you not disgrace yourself, Mr. Wright? The truth has been revealed. Are you the type of man to turn your back on things that you disagree with you? I'm not, but this? I can't give up now. I have to say something, anything, even if it's a bluff. I always managed to pull through that way in the past. I have to make it work. The defense is prepared to present evidence.
Mr. Wright?
Yes, Athena?
It's okay. You can stop now. I don't want you or anyone else to suffer any longer for my sake.
Athena, what are you saying?
I killed my mother. That's the truth. It's just like Proskauer Edgeworth said. We have to face it, no matter how much it hurts. I admit my guilt. But could I please be granted just one chance to tell everyone what I recall?
It appears Miss Six is much braver than you, Mr. Wright. What say you, Your Honor? In light of her courage, will the court give Miss Six this opportunity to confess? Very well. If you would, please take the stand, Miss Sykes. אני עדיין בשוק בנוגע לזה שזה הגיע למצב כזה ברוטלי.
Thank you for letting me do this, Proskauer Edgeworth. And thank you, Mr. Wright and Proskauer Blackwell, for letting the truth be known. Now that we can finally move forward, and everyone's suffering can come to an end, Athena,
Prosecutor Blackwell will be cleared and the dark age of the law can come to an end. Yes, admit your guilt and bring everything to its conclusion.
I killed my mother. My memory's a little hazy, but there's no question. I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers. Your Honor, please find me guilty.
I dare say, these are all memories that no one but the murderer would have. I see. Thank you for your confession. I believe this trial has gone on long enough. There's a little phrase, there's no question I remember. I remember the weight of my weapon in my hands, the feeling of it stabbing in deep. I remember the warmth of the blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers. Interesting. אפילו אני לא חייב להסביר את זה. אולי זה כן דיפ פה, אבל אין שום דם על ההנדל. Interesting! But before we conclude, does anyone have a counter-argument? Yes!
Objection!
תודה רבה, פיניקס! I do, Your Honor. Mr. Wright.
But Mr. Wright! Why? I killed her. I remember it now. Any counter-arguments now is pointless.
Objection!
Don't tell me you forgot one of the basic tenets of lawyering. Always believe in the client to the bitter end. Athena, you are not a murderer.
Objection!
I said that you never changed. But could you have actually regressed in these 8 years? Won't stand for a childish emotionalism getting in the way of the truth. Emotionalism? Don't lecture me on matters of the heart, Edgeworth. Because I can see straight into a person's soul. Oh! Odd law? Hold on! There's still a chance. Somewhere deep in Athena's heart. There might still be a memory that not even she knows about yet. Might be like looking for a grain of sand somewhere in the cosmos, but still. That memory might contain a new fact that could prove her innocence. I hope for everyone's sake that you are not just bluffing, Mr. Wright. Now then, is there or is there not a problem with Mrs. Sykes' confession? Yes! There's definitely something wrong with her memory of the event. I can just tell. If there is a problem with her confession, then prove it with the court now.
Take that!
Isn't that the katana the defendant used to kill their victim, Mr. Wright? I respectfully and harmoniously disagree, Your Honor. But I remember it! I remember holding the weapon and getting blood on my fingers. That's exactly my point. If blood really did get onto your fingers while you were holding it, there should be blood on the handle. But please focus on the handle of this sword. There's not a trace of blood on it. And therefore, this is clearly a contradiction of the facts. You're right. Oh my!
Objection!
The defendant must have simply confused a portion of her memory. She mentioned it was hazy to begin with, and we can't null over every minor detail.
Objection!
But she also said there's no question I remember it. A fact we can't ignore. In that case, why don't you explain what this contradiction with her memories mean? Gladly! Just give me a second to think of something. I'll just say that I didn't stab anyone. But she said herself that she remembers the feeling of committing the act. Think, Felix, think! What could the contradiction with her finger's memories mean? The defendant used a different weapon. It's like said, blood flowed down the handle, but the katana's handle is spotless. So, does it follow that the defendant must have used a weapon other than the katana? What are you up to this time? This is it. This time I found just the thing to end Athena's nightmare for good. The weapon that took Dr. Sykes' life was the katana. That much is for sure. So if I can show a possibility that Athena didn't use the katana, it could help me prove her innocent. Different weapon, you say? What weapon would that be exactly? Right, of course I would ask that. I can see you're floundering, Mr. Wright. Did you speak about thinking again, as always? How does he do that? I can't back down now. Not here, not now, not ever. חיגון זה זה! נכנס עמוק, הייתי אומר שזה די עמוק, ואז דם יכול להגיע אל ההנדל, שזה כאן. זה הרבה יותר קל מאשר מהקטנה. בכל מקרה. שנייה אחת אני כבר חוזר. אוקיי, בוא נקווה שה-to be continued יהיה מהיר. That's right, I did! Because it's so obvious, it doesn't require any thought. What did you say? Okay, maybe that was an exaggeration, but there has to be something. Was there some other bladed weapon in the robotics lab that day? Maybe there's something in one of the crime scene photos. Yes, the toolkit, Bo. From the rest of the toolkit. Wait a minute. There is something. There is high probability that that was in the lab. I don't have that particular weapon here in evidence right now, but I do have a piece of evidence just like it. Other than the katana, this is another blade that may have been at the crime scene.
Take that!
A utility knife. But that's the murder weapon in the Clay Tarrant case. Yes, this is the knife that took Mr. Tarrant's life. But there must have been a knife just like this at the scene of the crime 7 years ago as well. Toolkits containing utility knives like this are once issued to Space Center employees. And the robotics lab, especially, would naturally have one of those around.
Objection!
But besides the katana, no other bladed weapon was found at the site. necessary בשביל שאני לא אצליח לעבור את כל הזה. It was in the investigation report, if you didn't know.
Objection!
Of course I knew that! But you told me just now. Then here's something you already knew. That there was a toolkit at the scene. But it didn't contain any blades. Here's a photo of its contents. Alright. I don't see any kind of bladed tool. אבל חסר אחד. Fine. Isn't there something odd about the design of those handles? Therefore, there was no other bladed weapon in the room.
Objection!
I disagree. This toolkit contained a knife. And what proof do you have of that? Don't tell me your eye for art is failing you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You are the last person in the world who should be criticizing my aesthetic sense. Oh, now, he's simply watching out for your ocular health. Please proceed, Mr. Wright. Notice that the handles of each tools have a sort of design on them. Ah, I see that they do. But what significance does that have? It's clear that one of the tools is missing from the kit. If we rearrange the tools into a specific pattern, I'll be able to tell which part of the overall design is missing. Is that the theory your pitiful sense of aesthetics helped you come up with? Hey, Dwarf, just let it go, man. Show the court then, if you would. What pattern design would you see if we rearrange the tools? Yaksa.
Take that!
What design is this supposed to represent? The Yaksa logo, Your Honor. It's on all of the Space Center's documents and pamphlets. As you're aware, Yaksa is the program that operates the Cosmos Space Center. Ah, I think I see it now, but... Yes, with just the tools shown in this photo, the red A part of the logo is missing. And this is where the murder weapon from the Clay Tarrant case comes into play. If we were to place the utility knife in the open slot, it would complete the Yaksa logo. Or so it would. Then that means... Admit it, Mr. Edgeworth. My aesthetic sense is keener than yours. And while you're at it, admit that the weapon Miss Sykes used could have been this one. No! My God, אני רוצה לעשות to be continued, בבקשה. תן לי לעשות to be continued. Order. Order in the court. Miss Sykes confessed to having a memory of stabbing the victim. Admittedly, Miss Sykes most likely did stab someone using the utility knife. However, the weapon used to kill Dr. Sykes was the katana. Therefore, The act of stabbing that Miss Sykes remembers couldn't have been that of Dr. Sykes. Very well. I suppose for a minute that Miss Sykes did use the utility knife. Tell me, how does that change anything? Come again? What if the katana was only being used as a decoy to conceal the true murder weapon? Or if the real weapon that took the victim's life was the utility knife? Don't be ridiculous! Are you changing the premise of your entire argument? I merely hope for a hypothetical situation derived from your logic. Miss Sykes could put blood on the katana to make it look like the murder weapon, and then conceal the knife on her person until Blackwell carried her away. ילדה בת 11, by the way, Miles. It does clear up the contradiction between Miss Sykes' memories and the evidence. If in fact the murder weapon is a utility knife, then fate has dealt you a cruel hand. For you just proven the knife's existence to the rest of us with your own logic.
Objection!
The prosecution is attempting to lead the court!
Objection!
You're the one attempting to lead the court, Mr. Wright. By forcing us to forget the facts of this case. Need I remind you that there were only 2 people in the lab at the time of the murder? And that the defendant herself recalls stabbing someone with her own hands. No. It matters not whether the murder weapon was a katana or a utility knife. As long as we know that the victim and the defendant were the only ones there, you cannot escape the fact it was Athena Sykes who murdered her own mother. I don't believe it. Why? Why does this keep happening? Every time I find a contradiction, it vanishes and the suspicion keeps coming back. It's almost as if... Now you're finally starting to get it. Your contradictions keep vanishing because the charge is true. And the suspicion keeps coming back to the defendant because that's where it belongs. Phoenix Wright. When will you open your eyes and accept the truth? Oh boy, wow. Ay. תן לי בבקשה to be continued מתישהו Oh my god. Nick? הכל בסדר? Don't want to believe it. It can't be true. But what if... Mr. Wright, if I could fight, I think you've done all you can do. Is giving up really the only option? No. Stop out of it, Phoenix. What's the matter with you? Giving in to doubt? Can't look back. Forward is the only way to go. No, Your Honor. Not yet. It isn't over yet. Right. I can't lose sight of what's important. I believe in Athena, and I'll always believe in her. To the very end. Defense lawyer never gives up on his client. I have to pick myself up and stand firm. Make that brain of yours work, Phoenix. I don't see a way. I'll just have to go back and look for one. Time to rethink this case. Thoroughly. אוקיי. אני אסיים את זה פה, כי אני דואג בנוגע לטיימליין שיש לי. IRL. אני דואג לטיימליין שיש לי. אבל אני הולך בעצם לעשות את הפרק של היום פה, שזה קצת מעצבן. אישית. אבל אני הולך בעצם להמשיך, אם יהיה to be continued, אז אני הולך בעצם להמשיך הלאה, אחר כך. לא היום כנראה, אבל אחר כך, זה אני יכול להבטיח באופן מלא. אז כן, זה הולך לנושאים של הפרק של היום. מצטער שלא הגעתי לטופי קונטיני כמו בדרך כלל, אבל אני יכול לעשות את זה כמו שאני עשיתי עם הפאור ג'סטיס. גם אפילו שהלייב הלך בסדר הפעם, שזה אשכרה כיף. אז כן, מצטער שאני עושה את זה, אבל כאן היה ירין פגלת בסרטון עליו הבא, שיהיה לי גיימס, מקווה שנהנתם, וירין, אאוט. ביי חברים, מקווה שאתם נהנים.